Welcome to Theology of Christian Permaculture. My name is Sean. Today's video is about mistakes that have been made, or mistakes that were made. Many years ago, I'm going to turn this camera around in just a minute and show you this area where we had some raised beds and we'd put some of that felt type landscape fabric and planted some okra in them. We quickly found out that within the 1 year that didn't actually work, and it didn't do what we wanted to do, which was try to tame and to suppress the Bermuda grass. Then also what we did a few years later in an attempt to mitigate all the weeds is we put down a 6mm landscape plastic that you usually use. We didn't know about this at the time. We didn't know that it wasn't UV protected, and also that it was supposed to be covered. So it's more used for that type of, putting rocks on top of it in order to make your landscape look nice. Well, right now what I'm doing is I'm laying down some different 3-ounce landscape weed control barrier, kind of like DeWitt Sunbelt. And so as I'm doing that, I'm going through and I'm seeing the mistakes that were made in the past. So let me turn this camera around. As you can see, this area right here, see there's a great plant right there. You can see how grown it up it is with weeds. This all used to be just open right in front of the house with Bermuda grass, and there was a tree kind of out where that stump is right there. And there was a bench around it. But it had already been in very bad disrepair. So we had, wanted to get rid of the Bermuda grass, and well, we didn't know at the time. We just made raised beds, and we just threw beds on top of the Bermuda grass and threw soil in, and the Bermuda grass came up through it. So we, used to have a bunch of raised beds in this area. So then, this is what I'm talking about. If you can see right here, this right here is that felt type landscape fabric you buy at the big box stores. Here we are, 9 years later. It's still there. It's got this, nice, layer of dirt and soil on top of it. But it never worked because the Bermuda grass, if any tiny hole was made, it would come up through. But also it would, over the top, once there was any dirt, it would come over the top, and then it would root in that, and then when it would root, it would actually work its way through that landscape fabric. So it's just not good for controlling Bermuda grass. Hopefully we can save somebody that mistake. Now you can see also here, I'm going to be careful because every time I seem to pull this back, there's a snake somewhere or another. And so with this, luckily, the last two have been harmless guys. But you never know, because we did have a copperhead the other day here. You see there's this, plastic here, 6mm. But you can tell that it, this is only like 1.5 season exposure to the sun. It's torn apart. There's a bunch here. A lot of it's, was shredding. It did a good job though, as you can tell, except for where it broke and then, grass started growing through, but it did a pretty good job of suppressing the weeds and everything. It's just that it turned into, 1,000 little pieces now that we have to deal with, and, that just creates another problem ecologically, So our hope is with this stuff is that, except for along the edges, we use it only for, a certain amount of time. We pull it up, we move it to a different area, and then we seed something that would be, like buckwheat or whatever that would be a good, crop for just kind of chopping, dropping, and being able to plant in the soil and building biomass in this area over time. That's hopefully the plan, but I also have to admit I'm a little bit pensive because, I'm having a hard time just trying to, keep up with all the weeds in this area. And, that's one thing, Missouri produces is a lot of weeds. So we'll see, how this works out. Hopefully we'll get the chain, it's not a chain link fence, it's a field fence up. We'll grow some grapes on it, tomatoes, other plants, probably some flowers. That's over time. So just wanted to give you a, you can see this whole run of both of these, but you can see this one, still here underneath. And I don't even know how far it goes. I'm going to try to dig it up as best as I can and, get rid of it. But, so, you try things, especially when you don't know. And sometimes you make mistakes. And that's okay. I wish I wouldn't have made this type of mistake, because actually it's created more work than I wanted it, than I would have thought, to remove it and to dispose of it. So, but not everything goes perfect. Sometimes you have a bright idea and it's not as bright as you thought. So give things a try, but also, we live in an age where, we can go to places like YouTube and we can, now we can get a lot of advice and some of it's not always good. But if we watch enough videos, we can at least get this general idea of what might be helpful, what might not be helpful. Anyways, as the old saying goes, mistakes were made. God bless you, beloved of the Lord. May the Lord bless you. May he keep you. May he cause his face shine upon you. May he give you peace. May he ever be radiant towards you. God bless you, beloved of the Lord. Here's a quick addendum to the video that I just filmed about making mistakes. I found the other edge and was able to pull this up all the way like that. So that's one of the good things. I thought it was going to take a very, very, very long time breaking it up, taking it out in pieces. So praise the Lord that he led me to this part right here where I was able to just do this. Anyways, God bless. Bye. Addendum number 2. I think I thought there was such a straight line. After pointing that, I was like, oh, it must have left an impression. But no such luck. It is, I guess we put 2 rows of it down, so got to get that pulled up too. But luckily, I'll be able to put down this next row after I get rid of these kind of bumps with this clumping grass right here. Get that laid down. So at least made some progress. And what I forgot to say was, earlier I got really discouraged because I have a migraine headache today. And I was trying to work on pulling that up. And it was just hurting my head so bad that I was just like, Lord, I'm getting nowhere. I'm moving an inch at a time. And that means I'm getting nowhere. And I was kind of like, well, I was done with my complaining, and I said, Lord, well, I guess an inch at a time I am making it somewhere. So I went inside and I made some food and for me and my wife. Drank a bunch of water, because I think that's why I have this migraine, is because I didn't hardly drink any water yesterday, and I don't tend to do well when I don't have enough water. So anyways, I came back out, and then the Lord gave me that real easy, being able to pull that out so that way I can continue. Let me turn this around. Laying this second row down. So I guess, even when we throw out our little complaints, they can be heard by God as prayers for help. And so I'm grateful for that. God bless.